It is not always easy to know what is important and what is just noise in the world of crypto right now. In this episode, I won't hold back in telling you what I think are the most important and market-moving issues in crypto today. This episode will highlight what the best case scenario would be for each of these issues, but the next episode will do the exact opposite. I will present as many details as I can so that by the end of this series, you will be able to decide for yourself just what the future holds for crypto regulation and what that might be. Pretty cool, huh? It is, but even more cool is whenever my hours of research pays off by making sure that you smash that like button. Make sure that you hit subscribe, boom, bang on that notification bell. Comment anything that you want in the relevant sections. I appreciate it. Now, let's see what's moving in the background that we can prepare for coming in the future concerning crypto regulation. Over the next 10 years, we will probably have the opportunity to shape the industry in a way that will bring about unprecedented growth and innovation. But in order for this to happen, we need to be proactive in our approach to crypto regulation. First, let's talk about the SEC versus Ripple case. I know, the elephant in the room. And it's one of the hottest topics in crypto for a few different reasons. Now, the outcome of this case will determine whether or not XRP, the cryptocurrency created by Ripple Labs, is actually considered a security. If XRP is deemed a security, it would fall under the jurisdiction of the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and be subject to the federal security laws, in the United States at least. This could have major implications for the entire crypto industry, as it would set a precedent for how other cryptocurrencies are classified and registered. The outcome of this case could also impact the ability of other crypto projects to raise funds through initial coin offerings or ICOs, which could affect the growth and development of the industry as a whole. The case is also important because Ripple Labs is a for-profit company, unlike Ethereum and some other projects. This legal classification differs from other coins in the top 20 cryptocurrencies, just like Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot, Stellar, and Cosmos, which are non-profit companies. There's a third classification that is unique to crypto, which is best described as simply fully decentralized. Coins like Dogecoin, Bitcoin, Uniswap, Litecoin, which have no real entity that can change anything about the underlying blockchain or protocol. For the experts that call me out on this last point, just know that I am painting with broad strokes to make a specific point here. The point is that there are a lot of cryptocurrencies that are managed or operated with varying levels by a for-profit company rather than a non-profit or no entity at all. Binance Coin, Solana, Chainlink, Kronos obviously, and many more cryptocurrencies are for-profit, and their issuance of a coin could be handled differently by the SEC than the issuance of ETH. After all, the archaic Howey test, which is the measure by which the SEC uses to determine if an asset is a security, contains one parameter that is the expectation of profit. I don't necessarily have a strong opinion on this. One thing that I will say is that a lot of the many organizations that have taken advantage of crypto and given it a bad name were for-profit companies. Terraform Labs, Celsius, FTX, those were all for-profit companies. Baby currencies shouldn't be managed by an entity that is designed to seek profits above all else. This might be a painful compromise that the cryptocurrency community has to make. A future where XRP is allowed to live and thrive is one that I definitely want to live in, even if that means that the blockchain is managed and operated by a non-profit or by nothing at all. Now, let's switch gears and talk about the importance of the SEC allowing the creation of a Bitcoin or altcoin spot ETF. For those who don't know, a spot ETF, if allowed, would track the performance of a basket of cryptocurrency assets or a single cryptocurrency. This regulatory breakthrough would provide a way for investors to gain exposure to the crypto market without having to hold the actual assets themselves, and it would also allow for a lot more liquidity in the market. Now, let's talk about how the regulators can eliminate crime without stifling innovation, at least in my opinion. As much as people have loved the Wild West stage of crypto where they have been able to thrive, they also recognize that crypto will need to mature at some point in order to be taken seriously in the global financial system. I think that almost 15 years of development has produced a crypto industry that has been allowed to explore limitations and potential without the fetters of much regulation. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? I don't know. You can make your own inferences on that. Most people would say that it has been great, but if the industry is serious about graduating from the early investor stage and moving into the mass adoption stage, we have to embrace regulation and help form it. To be honest, I genuinely do not know how regulators plan to mitigate the criminal potential of blockchain at a scale, or even if they actually can. That's actually for them to decide, but I am not so much concerned with the money laundering issue because that is a criminal activity that is old as laws themselves. After all, you would not need money laundering if there were not any methods of making money that weren't already illegal. It's unfortunate that we live in a world where there is illicit trade, but I do want to live in a world where human trafficking is ended and where people can't steal my property because they will go to jail. I want that I like that. But unfortunately, by making those things illegal, that then opens up a market for criminals to offer money laundering services to other criminals who are desperate and stupid enough to deal in illicit trade and also want to have a bank account. It's for this reason why I lean more pro-regulation in crypto. The regulation that I am talking about would involve know your customer and anti-money laundering regulations, as well as cracking down on illegal and illicit activities such as wash trading and sanctions avoidance. Obviously, these things are easier said than done, but the days of full anonymity need to end. It's not like it is super easy for the government to associate you with a wallet address, but if they really wanted to, they probably could. But in order to do those types of things, they would still have to get a warrant and serve it to an exchange. Individual people certainly can't find out what wallets are yours, so I think that KYC is ultimately good and necessary for the mass adoption phase of crypto that we are moving into, at least in certain instances and for certain companies. At the end of the day, we need to be mindful of the fact that the crypto industry is still in an early phase, but it's starting to get to the point where you would expect the industry to start maturing. But since companies like FTX and Terraform Labs are still proving that crypto can't regulate itself, then it's clearly time for some other entities to step in. We've actually had plenty of bear and bull cycles to get this straight, but I do believe that a best case scenario for crypto over 10 years does include a lot more regulation than there has been. With that said, it's important for regulators to strike a balance between protecting investors and fostering innovation. We should not let the fear of the unknown stifle the growth and innovation of this revolutionary technology. The future is very bright for crypto, and it's up to us to shape it in a way that will bring about unprecedented growth and innovation. So let's work together, regulators and the crypto community, to create a regulatory framework that will allow crypto to reach its full potential, because there is a lot more use cases for blockchain and crypto than just sending money anonymously via Bitcoin. And if you don't believe me, go look and see what Nillion is doing. Now, that's all I got for you in this video. Come on, I'm just kidding. You didn't think that we were going to just talk about crypto regulation without talking about taxation, did you? Now, I won't come out and say that taxation is theft because, like I said before, I do want criminals to fear the state so that they're not rolling up to your house and stealing all of your goods. I understand that in order for criminals to fear the state, we all have to chip in to pay the wages of a police force and a judicial system. And our local and state taxes actually pay for that. And our federal income taxes actually pay for the salaries of the governing bodies that stop nefarious parties from running off with your money inside of crypto, and the lawmakers that make that happen. And let's not even get started on the military, because they deserve their wages. But I do believe that taxation is de facto regulation because it contributes to a broader system of incentives and disincentives for certain economic activities over others. It is for this reason that I think that the current tax system for crypto in the US could be a little bit overly burdensome. In my opinion, the capital gains tax rate should actually be a little bit lower than TradeFi to help stimulate the burgeoning new industry of crypto. Because if people can't make good money off of it, they're not going to help grow the market. And it would be okay if those tax rates eventually go up over time with the growing of the industry. But for the early phases that crypto is in, I think that the tax rate should actually be a little bit lower to increase trading volume and bring more adoption to the space. Higher traffic and more involvement overall will help operators in the space figure out what the market values and what it does not. And I know a lot of people don't really like paying their taxes, but if you could get a lower tax rate on things like this, I think that that could be a good compromise in most people's opinions. I'll leave you on that note because I'm sure it is something that everyone can agree on. Now, let me know what you think about crypto regulation in the country that you live in. Have you heard of the for-profit versus non-profit dynamic before in relation to the SEC versus Ripple case? And if you like content like this, make sure that you show up to the next video, make sure you go watch the last videos, and make sure that you smash that like button. Make sure you hit subscribe, boom, bang on that notification bell. Comment anything that you want in the relevant sections. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for showing up to this video. I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, everyone.